Okay, so today is the 19th of June, 2023. And that means that my book is due in about 2 months. So, what I thought I would do, and you might find this interesting, you might not, I don't really know. I'm doing it anyway, is to kind of catalog the last bits of putting together a book for publication, because basically you kind of see I've been cataloging the research process, I've been showing you the research process, I've been talking about the research process. I could probably do a little bit of a better job showing it to you, but I will for the next one. But for and you know, obviously we all know that writing is involved. But we're kind of at a different stage now. And so I thought what would be interesting is to kind of show you those last stages, the kind of last 2 months worth of a project, leading up to the publication. So this is probably going to be like maybe a two-parter. I don't really know. I don't know how I'm going to do this. We'll figure it out in post-production. You'll know when you're watching this. So, what I thought I would do is to tell you kind of where I'm at right now, and then tell you what I need to be doing, and then we're gonna do a little bit of it today. Just a small amount of it, because it's 2 months worth of work. Well, a month and 3 weeks. So, where I'm at the moment is, I have this. This is, oh, I don't know, the reflecting. This is the full draft of the book. So it is roughly 46,000 words, which is actually about 20,000 words under my limit, which means that I have a lot of words to play with, but there's some stuff that needs doing. First of all, a little show and tell. As you can see at the beginning of this, I have nice photos in place where they belong, but at the end bit, not so much. This is because as I was working through the draft to put it to this stage, I started inserting the photos, and then about, I would say roughly halfway through, I realized that I didn't necessarily have all of the images. Basically, I didn't know what images I had to mess with. I now know what images I have to mess with, but it's kind of all in a lot of different places. I haven't really collected them all in one spot. So, basically, the main things that I have to do, and I'm going to try to like scooch over a little bit because I'm thinking of like listing them here so you can see. So the first thing that I have to do is I have to sort and give detailed information to myself about the photos. So what I'm thinking is putting together like a spreadsheet or a table or something in Notion that gives me information about what images that I have, what the tag is supposed to be, because I have all of the cosplayers' information and the photographer's information if they're a photographer that is not me. I need to make sure that I have the tags detailed right, so I was going to put that in, what the photo is, and then give space for me to then put which photo is going where. So I need to know which chapter it's going in, but I also need to know what number. So basically throughout the manuscript, according to my publisher, it needs to be marked throughout the whole manuscript. So say if I do 2 photos in chapter 1, the third photo, even if it's in chapter 2, has to be marked with photo number 3. So I have to kind of make sure that I have them all in the proper order and numbered correctly, both in the manuscript and in my notes, because when I send the photo, they have to be numbered correctly. So all that to say, I need to have a spreadsheet where I keep track of all this stuff, right? So I need to sort out a spreadsheet for the photos. I need to send some emails to some of the photographers for images that they have given me approval of, but they haven't actually sent the images over yet. So I need to send them that. I'm giving it a day or two because I just got a message from one of them last night saying that they were going to be sending it today. So I was going to kind of give it a day or two before I send that email out. So I'll probably send that near the end of this week. I have to finish the new chapter. So at MCM, I decided to add another chapter to the book, which is again where I'm going to be dipping into that extra word count that I have. So I have to finish writing that new chapter. I then have to edit that chapter to get it to the editing stage that the chapters are that are in that manuscript that I have. I have to edit this manuscript one more time. I tend to not do too many edits before I send it to the publisher because they have an editor, but I do want it to get to a stage where, to me anyway, it is readable. It's legible. Everything that I want to say is said the way that I think it makes sense, and then somebody else can tell me if I'm wrong, but I do need to give it one more edit through. So I'm going to try to do that with the new chapter as well. So it'll be the whole thing all edited at the same time. I have to organize my permissions. So I have to send the permissions that the photographers are giving me. I have to send that to the publisher when I submit. So I have to make sure that I have all of those cataloged and organized and ready to send in a file of some sort. So that way they can see them all. I have to name the photo files in the number order that they are in the book. So this is going to be one of the last things that I do because I've got to know the order that they are. I have to know the numbers, refer to spreadsheet, and then I have to name the photo files that I am sending over to the publisher with the same number that they are numbered in the manuscript. And then the last thing I have to do is I have to submit. So that's literally every single task that I have to do between now and submission date in roughly 1 month and 3 weeks. Okay, so today I'm working on writing the new chapter. I'm going to try to get at least most of it done, if not all of it, but I do have to finish it tomorrow. So if I can finish it early, that's great, but we'll see. So I have to write and work on the new chapter, and I'm going to be putting together at least the rough bare bones of the spreadsheet with the images that I already have, which are primarily my images. So I'm going to be doing that today. For the rest of this week, I am finishing the new chapter. I'm emailing the photographers. Let's get to work. Right. So, I think I got the basics of it done for the photo cataloging, which is what I was doing. Although I only have 34 images and I should have more than that. But I've got, I basically didn't go through some of my just like general con images that I've taken before. So I'm going to do that in a bit, but maybe after a little bit of a break. But let me show you what I've done so far. Okay. This is going to be really shoddy looking because I just don't have time to completely like snap from my actual like screen. I just don't have time to screenshot. So I've got, this is the kind of basic table that I have. So as you can see, the top, I actually have a little bit more of the images and descriptions done because those are the ones that were actually in the manuscript so far. And then the rest of them are ones that I've either gotten the permissions from but haven't received, or that I just don't have like the shortened version of it yet, which gives me 34 images. Writing part. I don't have much hope for my abilities to write today, but we'll do our best. Ooh, sorry. Okay, so that writing sesh ended up turning more into taking notes than writing, but I did manage to write a couple 100 words, so that's something. But it means that hopefully I'm set up better for tomorrow. So let's keep going. We'll finish this book soon. That's it. Okay. So I have now sent the emails. I did that yesterday. I sent emails to the photographers. I have finished the draft. It's a draft, but I finished the draft of the new chapter, and I have organized the photos. So that's it for this week, which is nice. So I think that's it for working on it this week. I need to make some notes that I thought about for editing. That would be very useful, but I'm not going to actually edit them. I just need to make notes. But yeah! Good morning, everyone. This is probably going to be the last day that I record for this part 1 of finishing the book. According to my Notion countdown that I have going on, I have exactly 1 month left. I mean, and it's give or take a day or two. It is today, July 11th. My publisher expects the book to be in to him August 15th. So yeah, I have just about a month left. I thought what I would do is there's a couple of things that I did that I didn't record because they were really quick jobs, or they were jobs that I didn't think were gonna be very interesting. And I thought then I would record a little bit of what I'm doing today, and then that'll be it for this part 1, because I have to edit this and do the thumbnail and all the YouTube stuff before it comes out, and then I've got to get started on the next month of work. Okay, so let me tell you about what I'm doing. So what I have done so far is made editorial marks. I have, as I showed you last time, I have this like bound version of the manuscript. I've been going through it chapter by chapter, reading it, making editorial marks of things that I want to change. I was going to wait until I had done that with every single chapter and then go through and make changes on the actual manuscript, like on my computer. But I decided that I started making a bunch of changes that were adding information, and I was worried I was going to forget what exactly I was thinking about and how I was going to phrase things by the time I got to it in, say, 3 weeks from now. So I thought I would go ahead and start doing it at around the same time. So I have to keep track of things. So one of the things that I did was, well, first off, I made a quick list on a sheet of paper of all the additions and edits and things that I need to add as I think about them. I started it before I went through, and then there were some things that I found when I was, say, working on a performance chapter that I went, oh, this would be, you know, good to add to it, but maybe it makes more sense in a skill chapter, so I wrote it down so when I get to the skill chapter I know to put it in. Things like that. I also started making a list. I know, lots of legal pad paper. I started making a list of all the things that I need to do that isn't manuscript editing. So things like getting permissions for certain images that I still haven't gotten. My husband did a lot of the images that are going to appear in the book, and I am, putting him as the photographer because he took the images. Technically, he owns copyright, and despite the fact that he's my husband, I need to get written permission from him, so that's in there. I have to compile all of the permissions, all of these things like that. All the copyright stuff takes a lot of time and things like that I need to do, but a lot of this I'm probably not going to be able to do until I have the actual manuscript edited because of the way that I have to format the images, which I'll talk a little bit more about that in the next section because that's where I will be finishing the book and probably doing this a lot more. So yeah, I started going through the actual book, and I have a little handy list of each of the chapters, whether or not I have done the editing marks in the book, whether or not I've made the editing marks on the computer, and then whether or not I have finished all of the images that are being accumulated for that chapter for when I'm at the images stage. And then I'm just starting to go through it and do it. That's kind of what we're doing. I mean, we're in the home stretch now. I'm literally just, as I finish the chapters, I'm literally marking them as finished. I mean, I still have to add images to them, but as far as the writing is concerned, they're done. They're ready to send to the publisher as I finish it. And it is really exciting to see it kind of tick up. It's really nice to see what I thought was an absolute mess that made no sense or flow together start to actually make sense and flow together. I mean, it made more sense and flowed together a lot more than I gave myself credit for, to be fair. But I need to do a little bit more fine tuning to really make it good on that account, which is what I'm doing, and it's making it look really good. Figuring out which images are going into which chapters is actually kind of fun because there's only an occasional time where I think it's important to reference the photo. Sometimes it's just, I've got all of these really lovely, cool photos of cosplayers that I just kind of want to slot in fun places where I can. So yeah, I think that that's been kind of fun. But anyway, that's it. So enjoy this last day of a time lapse of me taking the changes from a chapter and putting it into the computer. And then I'm probably going to be doing an actual editing of another chapter, like in the book, making the editorial marks. I may or may not film that. But other than that, I think that's it. Then I've got to edit this and get it ready to be sent out on YouTube and then pick up the process exactly where I've left off. To kind of give you an idea, you may or may not have seen when I lifted up my my handy what I finished table, but I just finished editing chapter 3 of 9. So I'm a third of the way done with the actual editorial marks. By the time I'm done with the computer bit, I will be a third of the way on the manuscript in that regard. So I have another 6 chapters to do, and then I have to do all of the image formatting and inserting into the text as well. So basically I've just left a little place for me and a little note for myself that's highlighted so it's easy to find. That is where I want the images inserted and which image I want inserted. I also have a Notion where I have that organized. As soon as I figure out which one I'm putting where, I put it into a table in that position so I can more easily see which ones I'm going. But yeah, so I guess it's a good place to be. From what I can tell, from where I wanted to be, I am ahead of schedule. I think that this was around the time that I thought I should start doing the editing. So the fact that I've been doing it for the last 2 weeks is good. Some aspects of it are taking a little longer than I thought. Particularly, there are some historical images that I wanted to grab, and I'm having a lot of trouble finding who owns copyright, if anyone owns copyright. I don't really know how to figure that out. Some places it's very clear and designated, and some places it is not. And so that's been a little bit difficult. But we'll see. I think if I can't manage to get some of the historical photos, I can't manage to get historical photos. I can definitely get one because one of them is out of copyright. So I can definitely include that one. So there's at least going to be one historical photo. It's just whether or not I can manage to do a second one. I'm ahead of schedule is the important bit of that. I'm ahead of schedule, and I'm hoping, knock on wood, that it remains that way. But if it doesn't, if something starts taking me longer, or if there's other life stuff that starts getting in the way and taking up time, because I am still needing to do a lot of my other work during this, if that starts getting in the way and being more time consuming than I planned, then at the very least, I am ahead of schedule, and it means that I can be set back by at least a week. But it doesn't matter because we've only got a month left. So let's finish this up. So enjoy this last little time lapse, and thanks for coming with me on this journey and seeing the last bits of coming together for a book. It's not all writing, it's also editing and copyright finding. Yay!